12 questions. You can use your blue sheet. I don't think you're going to need your gold sheet. But 12 questions, 120 points. 10 points each. I think there's 2 extra credit, if I remember correctly. Yes. 2 extra credits, so you can get some points to catch up from stuff from before if you want. They're all derivatives, so there's 14 derivatives on there. The first one on the test, you'll have to use the limit definition. Remember back to the beginning of this whole thing? We messed with all that. The formula. I will give you the formula, or if you haven't put it on your blue sheet yet, please do so. We'll go through one of these today. But as I told you before, it's just the polynomial one. You won't have to worry about doing a division or a square root. Just a polynomial, so you know how to actually use that thing. First one on the test, you have to use the limit definition. You will know what the answer is because you've got the power rule. Then there's one second derivative. So there's only one problem where you have to take the second derivative. It will be a fraction, so you got your choice on how you want to mess with it. And there are 2 implicit. I'll tell you when you have to use the implicit differentiation. I'll tell you about the implicit. Amongst all of these, the rest that are there, these 11 that are left, all the different techniques you got. You've got your power rule. You've got your chain rule. You've got your product rule. You have your quotient rule. And you've got trig. Remember, so I think it's 11 through 16 are on your blue sheet. I think are the trig derivatives on there. 11 through 16. You might have a combination of such. Power rule, chain rule together. Product and quotient. Remember, these are more like formulas to do the derivatives for your u prime and your v prime. And the trig is all right there. They just magically switch. Other than the implicits, I am not going to tell you what to use. Be very careful, people forget about the product rule sometimes. Some of these are basic as compared to what we've been doing lately. The power rule. You might have a couple problems right off the bat that are pretty straightforward. Some of you will get done in a short period of time with this. Others, it might take a little bit longer, but more practice, more derivatives you do, the better off you might be. I would go back and look at the homework assignments and see what's good there. And also, if we look at the end of the chapter, actually, if you look on page 134, rather than after the implicits, there are some pretty decent, good old everyday practice ones. Page 134, 19 through 32. Lots of good ones there. Some of them may be harder than others, but in general, if you can do those, you probably have yourself a pretty good background on what's going on. If we turn to the end of the chapter, on page 148, if you look down starting with about number 5 on page 148, there are some pretty good ones there, up through like 22, page 148, numbers 5 through 22. And then there's some implicits that are basically number 41. Over there's got about 5 or 6 implicits to mess with. They don't tell you to use implicit, but that 41 is an implicit one. So those are good places to look at. I am going to hand out a Find Someone Who, which has got 8 questions on it. That's just kind of a minimum. I'll probably add a couple on here for you. But it has the implicits, it has the limit definition, it has all those others that are there. It's pretty good to go off of that. I also have buku mounts of note cards that have problems on the front and answers on the back. So I'll try and do some today that I think are specific. I'll let you work on the Find Someone Who for a little while. I want to do a limit definition for sure today, and if you've got any others that you want me to do, I can do that. We'll see how I can fit the video stuff in some of this, but in general, you're better off working through here for the next couple days. I know because some of us are I'm going to be gone tomorrow, so I'm going to have the note cards out and so on. I might even have the answers to Find Someone Who's sitting around. I'll check. I think I got them in here.